Hi everybody, Kassandra Vaughn Lesson here, starting a new YouTube playlist series. I'm calling this 100 Days of Life Lessons. You know, when I was a professor, I made sure that in every single class that I taught, and obviously I taught in old-fashioned time, you know, at Tuskegee University there was a blackboard, there was chalk. I am one of those hardcore professors who only gave essay examinations because I wanted to know that you could write, I wanted to know that you could think, and I wanted you to become an even better thinker and writer by the end of my courses. So I was kind of a hard butt about stuff like that. But I also wanted to make sure that you took away life lessons from anything that I taught, and I taught business, so it was pretty easy to relate business and life. So I'm doing this new YouTube playlist because I'm inspired to speak about life lessons. A, because I learned a lot of these the hard way, and if you can avoid learning them the hard way, I would love for you to. And B, because I think it's important to be reminded of life lessons. So if you're in a space where you're not applying them, you can now watch these videos and you can go, oh yeah, I need that. So first life lesson. And I'm coming up with these on the spot because I think I want these to be things that are from the heart, and are also super relevant. And so I think one of the biggest life lessons that I've learned is you teach people how to treat you. You teach people how to treat you. So day one, life lessons, 100 days of life lessons. Here it is, day one. You teach people how to treat you. I could talk for 2 hours about this one lesson, and I could give you tons of examples, but I want this to be short, sweet, to the point. And it's my intention that you really understand this. You teach people how to treat you. And so often people mistake kindness for weakness. So often people, they expect you to show up a certain way. They expect you to be a certain person for them because it makes them feel better. And every time you say yes to that, every time you give in to that, every time you conform your life, your being, what you want and who you are to satisfy the needs of other people, you teach them that they can control you, and you also teach them that you don't value yourself. And so one of the biggest life lessons you will ever learn is that you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, by how you talk about yourself, by the things that you say. You teach people how to treat you. And so at the end of the day, what am I saying with this life lesson? It's not that you need to be somebody who puts up emotional walls and goes, no, 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 I'm going to say no to everybody, no to everything. It's own your yes and own your no. Own your yes. If you're gonna say, you know, I heard, who is it that said this? I think it was Marie Forleo. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. And we've got to get really good at maintaining healthy boundaries. What matters to you? What matters in your life? What's important for you? You know, it took me decades to learn this lesson. I used to be a supremely, fiercely independent, fiercely ambitious people pleaser. I spent decades doing that, being whoever people wanted me to be. And it took me a long time to realize that no amount of contortion of my being, no amount of chameleon-like adjustments to how I showed up in the world was ever going to make anybody approve of me whose approval was based on me giving them what they wanted. You see, at the end of the day, when I say you teach people how to treat you, you're beginning by teaching yourself how you're going to be treated, how you treat yourself, how you treat your priorities and your commitments and your dreams and your goals. If you don't keep commitments to yourself, you are showing the entire world that your goals and dreams aren't valuable, that they don't mean anything. And so you could be doing everything for everybody else. You could be keeping every commitment you make to everybody else. But the mere fact that you are not keeping the commitments you make to yourself tells everybody that you don't value yourself. And then you wonder why you get used. And then you wonder why people don't value you. You wonder why people show up late when they're supposed to go out with you, or people cancel on you on the last minute, or people, you know, they are always calling you when they need something, but they never call you and say, how are you doing? It's because you teach people how to treat you. And so this life lesson is so powerfully important because the first thing you've got to do if you're going to unteach, maybe you've been like me and you've been a people pleaser before, unteach people how to treat you and reteach them how to treat you, is you've got to stand up and treat yourself differently. You've got to treat yourself differently. You've got to actually now say to yourself, I love myself and I value myself and I'm important and I matter and I'm first. I'm first. And I'm unapologetically first. And it took me decades to do this. And I hope and pray that it does not take you decades to put yourself first, because you have no room to serve others. You have no room to give to others unless you put you first. And that means your spiritual life. That means your goals and dreams. That means taking care of your body. That means taking care of your mind. Till you put you first. Nobody else is going to do that, because they're going to watch what you do with you and they're going to use that as the baseline for how they treat you. So the first thing you've got to do, if you realize you've been doing a lot of human doormat stuff, if you realize you have been not keeping your word to yourself, make new commitments with yourself right now. Decide that you're going to keep those commitments to yourself, and then unapologetically follow through on those things. And if you've got to say no to people because you're keeping your commitments to you, yeah, it'll hurt the first 50 to 100 times you say no to other people. Say no. They'll be upset. They'll be mad. Maybe you'll lose friends, but they weren't really friends if you do lose them. The key thing is you teach people how to treat you. And there's no way around that. There's no way around that. So that is lesson 1 of 100 Days of Life Lessons. You teach people how to treat you. I will see you on day 2.